In 1900, the very first ever Christmas bird count happened as sort of an alternative to the traditional holiday bird hunt. Let's go count the birds, we don't need to hunt them. And now, over a century later, it's a beloved tradition with birders not only here in the 50 states in America, but with 20 other countries across the world also participating. In this video, I'm heading out for my sector of the Front Range. It's the 2024 Christmas bird count.
Good morning. It is 4:30 a.m. and yeah, boy, what I wouldn't do or what I won't do to go see owls.
Yes, my group was up early, ready to go with eastern screech owls on our mind. But before we get to that, I did just want to show the map of the area that I'd be covering in my specific sector. So let's take a look. So here is the map of the area that was being covered that day, and I was in the far east section, the one that's labeled 4A. So it's Littleton all the way down to C470, and then a little bit into Highlands Ranch, which is technically into Douglas County. And there were a few areas of interest for us here. You can see at the very northern tip, we actually had 1 block or so of the South Platte River. And then halfway through the sector, you can see there's one large body of water. That is McClellan Reservoir. So we for certain were going to hit there and be very thorough there. But yeah, that is the sector we had to work with, the furthest east sector for the count that day. And it proved to be a pretty unique area to cover. Slaughterhouse Gulch in Littleton was our first stop of the day, where we were able to successfully hear and briefly saw one eastern screech owl. Our next stop was a Hail Mary attempt at some northern saw wet owls at the Littleton Cemetery, but we came up empty.
All right, well, hopefully you can see me, but here's an update on our owling so far. We are 1 out of 2. So first location, we were able to get an eastern screech owl. We heard it, and I saw it flying. Of course, as you can tell, it's pitch dark, so there's not really photographs to be made. But I've been working the thermal scope too to try to give us a little edge, and we just went to our second location for a northern saw wet owl. Definitely a long shot on this one, but it was right here, so we thought it would be a cool find for the day. Unfortunately, we did not hear the northern saw wet, so we are continuing on now to a third location for more eastern screeches. So yeah, doing good though.
And even though we didn't get any more owl results here at our third location along the Highline Canal, it was still a really nice morning with a full moon, and it was also the peak of the Gemini meteor shower, so there were random meteors falling out of the sky too. It was just a really cool morning.
All right, well, you can actually see me now. It's starting to get light out, and we just finished up our last spot where we were hoping for eastern screech owls and great horned owls just along the Highline Canal in our little sector for the count today. And unfortunately, our third stop was a miss. But again, to already be on the board with an eastern screech owl at the first stop is awesome. So we are now going to meet at our main spot to meet the rest of the group for the day. And then, yeah, we will start getting the daytime normal birding going for our count. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
And even though I was out for birds this day, I'm an equal opportunity wildlife photographer. So when I saw this red fox playing around in the snow, I couldn't help myself. I had to stop and shoot some clips. With our group now fully assembled and the sun actually up so we could see things, we went to one of our first major stops, which was our blocked stretch of the South Platte River, where we were hoping to knock as many waterfowl, so ducks and geese, out as we could.
It's looking like 9 gadpoles.
And while the waterfowl was abundant along the river, it wasn't the only thing that we saw. We were hoping to see something cool like an American dipper or maybe some Wilson snipes along the river here, and although we didn't see either of those two, we did leave this location with 26 new species, and I think the waterfowl variety was exactly what we were expecting, and there was good raptor variety, seeing the 2 red-tailed hawks and the kestrel, so overall it was a very productive stop.
You gonna do a trip report for today?
We returned to Slaughterhouse Gulch now in the daylight, trying to get eyes on that eastern screech owl, but we didn't see it. But we did see this Say's phoebe, which is a little bit unusual to see around here in the winter. Sort of a recurring theme now on my channel is a game I like to call Not All Geese Are the Same. So let's see in this clip if you guys at home can figure out which goose here stands out from all the others. All right, if you notice this last goose in the shot has some unusual plumage that goes up above his eye, then you have picked it out correctly. And there's nothing special that causes this kind of plumage. It's just really rare. The research I did, it's about 1 in 1,000 have this kind of plumage, so it's just really cool to see that day. We ended up making a bunch of quick stops in little neighborhood parks where we saw more nuthatches. We did see our first cedar waxwings of the day, which of course flew off before I could take their photo.
Take a picture.
It was.
But we then got to Ridgeview Park, and again it's time to play. Not all geese are the same. And good news for you guys is this one is definitely beginner level. So go ahead and see the clip here and who stands out. Yeah, pretty obvious on this one, that white snow goose all the way back there in the back, thinking that we wouldn't notice, but we did. Finally, at McClellan Reservoir, I let the guys with the scopes work the counts on the stuff that was way out there that I couldn't see, and I focused on the stuff that was close by, like this red-tailed hawk. And then for the third time, not all geese are the same. Again, this one's pretty easy, so have a scan here and tell me what sticks out. Yeah, pretty obvious again this time, but this time not a snow goose. We got a pretty good look once it woke up and started moving around. This was actually a Ross's goose, and yeah, trying to blend in there reminded me of the, how do you do, fellow kids meme, but, we weren't fooled. After we left McClellan, we made 3 more quick stops to end the day. Started here at Flying Bee Park, where we saw a nice mixture of house finches and American goldfinches. And then we saw this sharp-shinned hawk in the middle of a trailer park, which was interesting. And then we ended at Spring Gulch, where we saw yet again another red-tailed hawk up on a phone pole. Okay, so here is my trip report on eBird. You can see here the little red icons are all of the spots that we hit all the way across our area. So yeah, we made 16 checklists. So that's 14 total spots because 2 of the places we doubled up on because we went there in the dark in the morning for owls and then came back there again in the daylight for normal birding. So 47 total species seen that day, which was good. You can see our geese numbers cackling, outnumbering Canada geese almost 2 to 1. Our duck species dispersion was pretty good. Surprisingly, American widgeon was the one that we saw the most over mallards. A little surprising, but overall, dispersion and species variety is about what you would expect. Only 1 ruddy duck, which again was at South Platte River. Our raptor spread was pretty good. A bunch of those red-tailed hawks, and then there's our eastern screech owls that we saw in the morning, which was cool. Any other surprises in here? I guess our count on bush tits were pretty high. That was pretty surprising. I I think I made that one really good photo of one. Again, that was also along the South Platte River. And then down here, nothing else too surprising except I think our sparrow species was down. House sparrow, song sparrow, white-crowned. So 3 sparrow species and really low numbers on those. So that was definitely a little bit surprising. And that carried over to all the other groups. You will see in a clip I'm going to show here from the compilation meeting that sparrow numbers are way down this year. So anyways, that is our list. I will leave a link to this trip list if anyone's interested in the description. But yeah, that's how we finished for our sector. For the compilation meeting, it's structured that the leader will call out the most common species, the species that have been seen on 100% of all Christmas bird counts so far. And then each group would confirm, oh yeah, we saw one of those. And then it would go down to the next tier, which is, okay, these are the 75% birds, and he would go down all the species. And then as you narrow it down, you get to rarer and rarer species. And the first surprise came in the 100% category, shown by this graphic. Yes, the house sparrow was the first surprise. You can see in this chart how rapidly they are declining in this count area, and that coincides with how big Denver has gotten. It's really pushed the house sparrows out of the city limits, or at least this count area. And little did we know, our one sighting of the house sparrow in a parking lot while we were waiting for another group member was the only house sparrow sighting of the entire day. So it saved the house sparrow to stay in the 100% group, at least for another year.
Tree sparrow.
Yes.
Not tree sparrow. Dark-eyed junco.
Yes.
Anybody have slate color?
Yes.
Yep.
Everybody did have slate? Anybody have white wing?
No.
I thought I had.
Those are good. Oregon junco?
Yes.
Pink-sided?
Yes.
Gray-headed?
Oh, yes.
Nice. White-crowned sparrow?
Yes. One.
Yeah, we did not have many.
Not many.
Wow, wait a minute. So one, did anyone have the
Yeah,
two?
so that's what we
Three?
Okay, so final results for our entire area compiled by all the groups was 100 total species, which is pretty average. If you go above 100, it's considered a good year. So we were right at 100, just pretty good and in line. Our highlights definitely were the 5 species of goose. My group contributed both Ross and Snow. That was awesome. White-winged scoter seen. That was really good. 2 American goshawk up in the foothills. One of the sectors up there, really cool. 3 loon species. The yellow-billed, that's awesome. 4 species of owl. Eastern screech, great horned pygmy, and northern saw-whet. Again, my group contributed the eastern screeches. 5 ruby-crowned kinglets. That's pretty cool. They're hanging around still this late. A single golden-crowned kinglet. Very cool. And a winter wren, complete with photos and recordings, so we know it's not a Pacific wren. So that's very good for highlights. Now to some of the misses, which were a little surprising. Again, the wood duck was a complete miss for our area. No northern pintails, which my group was really looking out for. That is probably my favorite species of duck. I think they make really good photos, so I'm a little biased there. No northern harriers in our area. Again, remember, this is just for our area, not all of Colorado. Obviously, if you were out on the eastern plains, you would see tons of them. Same goes with the rough-legged hawk. No American pipits, no Harrises, white-throated, or swamp sparrows. Again, that's kind of the big story, I think, this year is the lack of sparrow activity. And again, you can see another note, very few white-crowned and American tree. So the sparrows we did see were in really small numbers. Very few Townsend solitaires and American robins. Maybe they just haven't come down to Colorado yet. It's kind of a mild winter. But anyway, that is the final results. Thank you so much for watching this video. Normally I jump in at the end of these things, but I'm really putting this together at the last minute. So I just wanted to wish all of you guys a happy holiday, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.